Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a really long time, really long time, like 6 months, kind of long time. I have filmed some videos in that time, but I'm a perfectionist, so I never upload anything. So I just turned the camera on today because last night I was in my bed and I was like, I haven't done anything with my YouTube channel in a really long time. And I know that is number one because I hate editing, and let's just hope I end up editing this video because I filmed a lot of videos and then I try to edit it and like upload it and stuff, and then I just get so annoyed at myself, and then I'm like, well, I want like cute aesthetic graphics, but I don't have like any fancy software, so I'm just like in iMovie trying to make it look cute, and then it doesn't look cute, so then I give up. So yeah, anyway, here we are. And I just wanted to give a little life update because a lot has gone on. What is wrong with my hair? Sorry, my hair's just a little crazy. A lot has gone on because since the beginning of quarantine, I have been struggling just a bit. So I just want to share a little bit just about like what's gone on in the past few months, and then also just like my overall story with body image, because I don't know, I just think it's important to kind of share like my struggles with it and how my faith has kind of helped me with that. So without further ado, let's get started. Wait, first I need to put a disclaimer because I just want to make sure anyone who's watching this video who may be triggered by me talking about like disordered eating and stuff like that, I just want to make sure if you are triggered by that, do not watch this video. Just click out. You can watch another video. So yeah, I don't know why I'm being so weird. Like I just feel like it's like awkward that I'm on camera and I'm just talking, but yeah. Let's see what's gone on since quarantine. Since quarantine started, I've been very bored, and I decided to put all my focus, instead of God, I put it on my body and eating and exercise, which is just all sorts of wrong and it's not fun. So anyway, I thought I'd share my overall story in my struggles with body image because I'm sure like all of us have struggled with it for a while. And I feel like quarantine is just like emphasizing it because we're all so bored. So you're like constantly thinking about food and exercise and all that stuff. So anyway, let's just start at the beginning, shall we? Okay, so the first time that I can remember worrying about my body was probably like late middle school, early high school, because I have done ballet since I was 2, and in ballet there is this thing called the Balanchine body. So like the ideal ballet body, which is like really long skinny legs, a small torso, a long neck, really thin, like literally Balanchine was quoted saying like, I want to see bones. And so while I was growing up, like I was always like thin, but my legs were pretty muscular and they weren't long, like they were just kind of like even to my body. And so that was something that I was really insecure of, and I would always look in the mirror and I always hated it because I wanted to have these long skinny legs, because I was like, if I just had long skinny legs, my dancing would look so good and I could probably get like all the roles that I wanted and maybe become a professional, because for a period of time I kind of wanted to, but I always felt like my body was in the way. Like I felt like my legs were just making my dancing look bad, and every time I would look on the video, I hated the way that my legs looked. Like I just hated it, and I would always stand, like there was like one mirror in the studio that for some reason was kind of like warped to make you look skinnier and longer, and I would always stand in front of that mirror so that whenever I looked in the mirror I was like, oh, like this doesn't look too bad, which that's not what I looked like in real life, but I like to pretend that my legs were skinnier than they were. And I would also wear like shorts and skirts to cover up like that like beginning part of your thighs. I don't know if that's weird, but like the tops of my thighs, because that was like where they were the fattest. So I was like, well, if I have a skirt, it creates the illusion that they go skinny all the way up, when that's not the case. But anyway, yeah, ballet definitely contributed a lot to my body image issues. I just was always so self-conscious about my legs. I never worried about the rest of my body. Like I never really thought of my stomach or anything. It was just like my legs were my biggest insecurity. And I mean, I remember like in class, like all of us were insecure about our body. Like we would all joke about being fat. We would all be like, oh, I'm not gonna eat anything because like I'm just so fat. And I would say that too, and I would make those kinds of jokes too, because that's like how we coped with it, I guess. But I never got to the point where I would like actually restrict my eating and try to do something about it. I was just kind of insecure about my body, but I wasn't going to change the way that I was living. You know what I mean? It was just kind of contained in ballet. Outside of ballet, I was pretty much fine, but inside ballet, that's when I felt really insecure. So, I mean, I would just eat like whatever when I was in ballet. Like I would have like 3 cookies after ballet. I would just eat whatever. There's nothing wrong with eating 3 cookies, by the way. But I'm just saying, like, I didn't care about what I ate. Like, I look at vacations that we took to Europe, and sometimes I would take pictures of my food, and I'm like, wow, I ate pasta twice that day. Like, I would never do that, like, now, because obviously I don't have the best relationship with food right now. So I'm not saying that that's something that you should think. I'm just saying, like, back then, like, I really just ate intuitively. I ate whatever I wanted. I ate pretty healthy. It was just like sometimes I would treat myself and I didn't think it was a big deal because I was doing ballet, so it all balanced out. So then I think it was my junior year. So the fall of my junior year, I got the role of Sugar Plum Fairy. So that was a really big deal for me. And that meant that I was exercising a lot more because I had to constantly go through run-throughs for that role, which was exhausting. And there were a lot more rehearsals and stuff. And so during that time, I also remember I was kind of like anxious all the time because I was so nervous about performing that role that I like didn't really feel like eating. So I lost a lot of weight during that time. Not like a ton of weight, but apparently it was noticeable because during like the dress rehearsal before Nutcracker, one of my teachers, she pulled me aside and she was like, hey, like I just want to make sure you're eating enough because you look really thin on stage. Like I just want to make sure you're okay. And I guess maybe she thought I had an eating disorder or something. I don't know. But I remember, like, it literally gives me chills because I felt so good that she said that. Like, I felt so good that she thought I had an eating disorder because I was like, wow, like, I'm really skinny. Like, that's great. And I would kind of, like, joke around about it with my friends. I'd be like, oh, like, she thinks I have an eating disorder, which is so wrong for so many reasons that I thought it was good that I looked literally unhealthy. But, yeah. I just didn't, like, I still ate whatever I wanted. I guess I just lost weight because I was anxious, so I was eating less, and I was exercising more, but it wasn't intentional. So, then, before my senior year, I made the decision to quit ballet because I just felt like I kind of accomplished everything that I wanted to do, and I wanted to focus on other things, like YouTube, even though I kind of stopped doing that, and like my blog and stuff like that. Anyway, so I quit ballet, so I no longer had that source of exercise. At the same time, I started taking this allergy medicine that apparently had a side effect of weight gain. So I started gaining weight. I gained about 10 pounds, I think, over the year, and it made me feel horrible about myself. Like, I hated myself. I felt disgusting. I felt lazy. I was doing Orange Theory with my friend twice a week, which I mean is like fine, but I just didn't feel like that was enough exercise for me. And also I think I was just like, it was the medicine combined with just not having ballet like 6 times a week. So I gained weight during that time, and it made me feel really bad because for my whole life, I never paid attention to weight gain because I was like, I never checked my weight or anything, and so I started checking my weight more. So, I didn't really do anything about my eating. I just kind of was too distracted by school that I didn't pay attention to it, and it wasn't until we went into quarantine that I started becoming really aware about how I had gained weight, and I just felt really bad about that I was gaining weight. And so during quarantine, when it started, I made like a pact with myself, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose these 10 pounds, they're coming off, and I'm just gonna exercise and I'm gonna eat less, which I think there is a way to make weight loss healthy. but obviously I wasn't overweight, so I didn't necessarily need to lose the weight. It's just I wanted to get back to who I was when I was in ballet. I was competing with myself, which is the hard part, because it wasn't that I was comparing myself to other people. It was just like I was comparing myself to the person that I was a year ago in ballet. And so, yeah, I told myself I was going to lose that weight, and I did like the Chloe Ting workouts. I watched so many What I Eat in a Days, especially like weight loss What I Eat in a Days, and those were horrible. I still not like in the place where I can just like watch a What I Eat in a Day and be fine, because I will just compare myself to what they eat, and it just puts me in the wrong mindset. So I was watching those, but I was watching like people who obviously didn't have good eating habits, and literally I found that dietitian Abby Sharp, who makes like reviews of people's What I Eat in a Days, and she reviewed like a lot of the What I Eat in a Days that I watched during that time, and literally she was like, okay, this is like horrible, you cannot be promoting this kind of lifestyle, which is not good, because I saw those What I Eat in a Days and I modeled my What I Eat in a Day after them. So some of these What I Eat in a Days, I don't know if they just didn't show the snacks because they were just snacks or what it was, but a lot of them didn't show themselves eating anything in between meals. So I literally thought, oh, they just don't have snacks, they only eat the meals, so therefore I cannot have snacks. So I gave myself that rule. I was like, okay, no more snacks in between meals, which is just so bad, and I would feel so weak and tired, and it was just not fun. I would just eat my breakfast, like a really small breakfast, like a tiny bit of granola and some yogurt, and I was still hungry like after I finished that. And I wouldn't have a snack before lunch, and I wouldn't have a snack after lunch. I would drink like green tea to hold me over. I would just like all kinds of stuff. I just wasn't eating enough food at all. And I just thought it was normal, because I was like, well, that's what everyone else is doing, so I'm just gonna keep doing that, because whatever. So I just kept doing that. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I just thought it was normal, which I think is like the worst thing, is when you just think something is normal that you don't even notice how unhealthy it is. So I did lose all of the weight, which is really unhealthy, because I think I lost the 10 pounds in like 2 months, which I'm pretty sure like for someone like my size is not good, because for many reasons, I'm not a doctor, but I know that was probably not good weight loss. So I lost the weight really quickly, and then I realized like, hey, this is not healthy. Like I can't like live like this. I can't just not have snacks in between my meals and like feel so fatigued and weak all the time. So that's about the time when I found out about intuitive eating and just how much I had bought into diet culture, because I didn't even realize that I was, but I just like gave myself all these rules because I thought that's what everyone was telling me to do. I thought that was right. So I didn't eat after dinner, I didn't have snacks, I didn't have dessert. I just gave myself all these rules, and I avoided all these foods. And so I found Abby Sharp, her channel, I think it's called Abby's Kitchen. And yeah, I found that, and then I started watching her videos, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I went so far down this road. And I can't even imagine, for people who are battling with an actual eating disorder for like years, that has to be just so hard, because for me it's been like maybe 3 months of just like disordered eating and struggling in my relationship with food, and it's already been really hard. So my heart goes out to everyone who is battling that for like a really long time, because I can't imagine. But yeah, I just found her account, and then I learned more about intuitive eating, and that kind of like the way I've been eating my whole life is the way I'm supposed to be eating, because my body knows what it needs, and I can't just not give it food, and it slows down your metabolism, and it has all these horrible side effects. So yeah, I decided, okay, this is not sustainable, this is not healthy, I can't live like this. I'm putting my worth in my body. I'm focusing so much in what I look like when it doesn't matter. And yeah, I decided I'm just gonna eat intuitively, which that's kind of where I am right now. And I'm not perfect at all. I have a really hard time eating junk food, I feel so guilty after I eat it. I have a hard time letting myself have like not the healthiest snacks. So I'm definitely still growing in that, but I don't know, I just kind of wanted to share my experience because I think we see a lot about eating disorders and stuff, which obviously, don't get me wrong, like it's really important for people to share those stories, but I think disordered eating in general and just not having a healthy relationship with food is kind of put on the back burner and people don't really talk about it. I just feel like maybe sometimes they feel like, oh, I haven't experienced it bad enough to say anything about it, but I just wanted to share my story because I think that's exactly why we need to speak about it, because we think it's normal to have like these like semi-disordered eating, like weight loss, all these thoughts of just like being uncomfortable in your body and restricting yourself, and it's so bad for you. And no one really talks about it. But anyway, so that's kind of just like my whole experience with my disordered eating, bad relationship with food. So yeah, I've been trying lately to just focus more on God and focus more on finding fulfillment and satisfaction in Him instead of my body, instead of just finding my identity in my body, because I've been struggling a lot with just like sort of like an addiction to exercise. Like I just feel like lazy if I don't exercise, or I feel guilty if I don't exercise. And I think that's something that people don't talk about a lot, because we talk a lot about like food and unhealthy relationships with food and dieting and stuff. But I think definitely we need to factor in exercise with that too, because it can get really unhealthy and you don't want to keep exercising just because you feel like you should. Exercise is for the joy of movement, which is why I've been doing the Sculpt Society workouts, and that has been a blast. It's so fun. Anyway, what was I saying? Sorry, my mind is just all over the place. I just kind of turned on the camera and decided to share my story. So this is my story. This is what I've been going through in quarantine. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been feeling the same thing, because there's not a lot to focus on other than food. I've been trying to find satisfaction in God and focus more on my relationship with Him, because that's definitely been on the back burner, because I choose to focus on food and exercise over Him and find my worth and identity in that, and that's just really bad. I don't know, I hope this kind of showed you my struggle a little more, maybe made you look at the way that your relationship with food is right now. I don't have all the answers on how to like fix disordered eating or a bad relationship with food, but I will say I will link like Abby's Kitchen and some other YouTubers that I like that talk a lot about intuitive eating and just like having a better relationship with food and eating, because life is so much more about food, and I don't want to waste my life just focus on food and exercise, because that is not fun. And food is for nourishment. It is not for just like stressing out about all the time. Like, it's okay to have a burger. You're gonna live, and it's okay. And our bodies don't need to look a certain way, because literally God just made us so perfectly. Like, literally today I read Psalm 139, and that's like the one that says like, I praise you because I am wonderfully made, wonderful are your works, my very self you know. And I just think that's so beautiful, because I don't know, it's hard for me to remember sometimes that God, like even like my metabolism, the way that my legs look, like everything was intentional and with purpose, and He made me and He was like, okay, this is good. So who am I to just go up to Him and be like, no, you should have made my legs skinnier and longer so I can look like some dancer from Vaganova. Like, no, that's not. He made me beautiful. He made me perfect. He doesn't see any flaw in me when He made me, and that's just a wonderful truth to remember and to focus on, and to just like shift our perspective off of ourselves and our bodies, which are so temporary. Like, we are so much more than a body. We are a soul. And I just want to start viewing life in light of eternity and the way that God sees me, instead of just like wasting it, feeling like I have to have like a flat stomach and be super skinny so that other people will be like, oh, she's skinny. Like, really? I don't want my life to be like that. Literally, like, when I die, people are like, oh, well, she was skinny. Like, no, that's not what I want my life to be like. I don't want my life to end like that. So yeah, I've just been reading the Bible, focusing on him, praying to God whenever I feel really down on myself about my body, and just remembering like this is fleeting, like my body's temporary, it's gonna change, and that's okay. My body is beautiful. I can run, I can dance, I can move. Like, what a blessing it is to just be able to like jump. Like, I don't know, sometimes you just think about all the amazing things that your body can do and you're like, wow, why am I just focused on what it looks like? Like, it's not an ornament, it's a vehicle. Like, my soul is in this. It allows me to just enjoy life and feel, like, use my senses to like take all this beautiful life in. So, sorry, I kind of went off on that, but it's just sometimes I get frustrated with myself and I'm like, why are you being so narrow-minded and just focusing on something so temporary and putting your happiness at stake because you just want to look like someone? Like, you're more than that. You're so much more than that. So, yeah, sorry I'm kind of just yelling at the camera about this, but yeah, maybe just like I should share some tips. Seek God first. That's my number one tip. I know that's like a very like, okay, awesome, but how do I actually do that? Just pray whenever you feel those thoughts go into your mind. Like, whenever you start feeling like, oh, I'm ugly, I'm fat, like I don't look like her, just stop and pray and ask God to just remind you of your worth, that it's not in your body, that you are so much more than your body. And also, I just love having like little reminders, like on my mirror, those little white things. Those are some Bible verses. Let me show you them. Let's take a trip over there, shall we? Okay. Ow, my legs hurt. So I have Proverbs 31:30. It says, "Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." So that's a good one. 1 Samuel 16:7. "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Sorry. And then fearfully and wonderfully made. What a nice reminder. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and I don't have to focus on my body and waste my life trying to be as skinny as I can be and try to fit into literally, okay, this is the crazy part. Sorry, I don't know why I'm just all over the place. Literally, the fact that we just have all these beauty standards, they're just made up. Like, do you ever think about that? Like, okay, the standard that like you have to have long skinny legs, like some guy or woman, I don't know, just one day decided, okay, long skinny legs are in, and I'm really gonna like just torture myself by like restricting and over exercising because some person one day decided that long skinny legs were beautiful. No, I'm gonna look at what God said, and he says that my body doesn't matter, that he made me exactly like he wants me to be, and I just need to trust in that and just focus on the more important thing, which is him and eternity, because this body's temporary, and I'm not gonna waste it on trying to look a certain way. So yeah, just saying. I don't know why I'm just in such a weird mood. Like, I'm just really weird right now. But yeah, that's just kind of my whole spiel. I know it was all over the place, but I just think it's important to share this story and give you some advice from me. I'm still trying to practice intuitive eating. I have been doing a lot better, but it is definitely a struggle, and my heart goes out to you if you're struggling with that as well, because it is really hard to just like be stressed out about food when it's just something to nourish yourself, and when you just feel like that constant anxiety about food, like it's very disheartening and just frustrating. But with God, we can do anything. So I'm just gonna keep praying and trusting that he can bring me through this, that he can do anything, that I am so much more than my body, and I will tell myself that in the mirror all the time, because I'm not going to waste my life focused on my body. So yeah, I hope this was I don't know if the word is encouraging, but I hope this maybe made you feel a little less alone, maybe, because I definitely felt very alone, and then discovered, hey, I'm not alone. Wow, what a revelation. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully I edit this. And I love you guys. And and follow my new food account, which is at broccoli and brioche. I will link it down below. I'm talking a lot more about my journey towards body positivity, intuitive eating, and just everything that God's teaching me through that. So make sure to check that out. And I have some recipes there. And check out my blog, which I'll link down below. And my main account, which I'll link down below. But yeah, I love you guys, and I hope that you have a blessed day and that you just feel God's presence and decide to pay attention to Him above everything else. I love you. Bye.